The forbidden gift throne room of the alien empire was carved from living metal, walls glowing with streams of energy, and every corner humming with power. The king sat on his throne, his crown heavy with authority, but his eyes were filled with rage. His only daughter, the princess, the jewel of his empire, carried a curse no medicine could break. She was infertile, unable to continue the royal bloodline, and for a ruler whose dynasty had lasted for thousands of years, this was an insult to the very gods they worshipped. The king summoned his council. Voices echoed in the chamber. Some suggested genetic science. Others whispered about cloning. But none of their solutions satisfied him. Finally, in his fury, the king declared a desperate plan. A human prisoner, captured from a distant war, would be given to the princess as a gift, not out of kindness, but as an experiment. The human was dragged into the throne room. His chains rattled against the floor. His eyes met the princess's for the first time. He did not bow. He did not plead. He only stood, wounded but unbroken. The princess felt something strange in that moment, something she could not explain. The king ordered the guards to prepare the chamber. If alien science fails, he growled, perhaps this human's nature will succeed. That night, the princess stood before the human in her private chamber. For the first time, she looked at him not as a prisoner, but as a man. He looked back at her, not as a goddess, but as a woman. The silence between them was heavy, but within it, a connection sparked, a seed of something dangerous. The human and the princess human was not treated as royalty. He was locked in the princess's chambers under watchful eyes, but the princess refused to treat him like a tool. She brought him food, asked him about his world, and listened when he spoke. At first, he was cold, his voice sharp with anger. He reminded her that he was a prisoner, a weapon in her father's hands, but slowly, he noticed her kindness. He saw that she too was a prisoner, trapped by the expectations of her empire. She asked him about Earth. He spoke of blue skies, green fields, and oceans that stretched forever. Her eyes widened with wonder. For her, the universe had always been war and power. To hear a beauty made her heart ache. One evening, she asked him why he never begged for freedom. He answered, because dignity is the last freedom no one can take from me. His words burned into her soul. The days turned to weeks. Their conversations grew deeper. Their hands brushed against each other's by accident, and neither pulled away. In the silence of the palace, a forbidden bond began to grow. But whispers spread quickly. Servants noticed her smile. Guards noticed his strength. The palace began to talk, and rumors reached the ears of the king. A forbidden bond. King's spies reported that the princess had grown softer. They claimed the human's influence was dangerous. They urged the king to separate them. But the king was curious. He wanted to see if this strange connection would achieve what science could not. Inside her chambers, the princess was changing. She laughed now, a sound that had never echoed in those walls before. The human taught her simple things. He told her about music, about stories, about love. At first, she did not understand the word, but when he held her hand one night, and their eyes locked, she finally knew what love meant. Her body also began to change. She felt strange warmth in her chest, strange energy in her veins. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but soon she realized it was something more. Fear and hope fought inside her. Could it be possible? Could her curse be broken? She kept her secret, but the human noticed her glow. He touched her hand and whispered, something is different about you. Outside, the palace grew restless. Whispers of betrayal mixed with whispers of miracle. The impossible ere weeks passed, until the truth could no longer be hidden. The princess was with child. Alien doctors confirmed it. Their voices shook with disbelief. The unborn child carried both alien and human DNA, a miracle, and yet, to many, an abomination. The princess wept with joy, clutching her stomach. She whispered to the human, you have given me more than life. You have given me hope. He held her close, whispering back, it is our child, our future. But the joy ended quickly when the king learned the truth. His rage shook the palace walls. His roars echoed through the empire. To him, this was not hope. It was betrayal. He summoned the court. He called the human a disease, a corruption. He ordered the guards to seize him, to execute him before the child could be born. The princess stood before her father, her hand over her belly. She shouted, "This child is the heir your empire needs, not the heir you imagined." The court gasped. Generals argued. Some saw the child as blasphemy. Others whispered of prophecy. The king's fury only grew. "No human blood will sit on my throne," he declared. His eyes burned with wrath. His hands gripped the throne until the metal cracked. The princess faced him with tears in her eyes, but steel in her voice. "Then you will destroy your only chance for the future." The king stared at her, his heart torn between pride and survival. The chamber fell silent. Everyone waited for his next command, and in that silence, destiny shifted. The king's wrath, king's rage filled the great hall. His voice thundered like storms across alien worlds. He declared that the human had corrupted royal blood, that the throne was at risk. His words were poison, yet behind his fury was something more dangerous: fear. The guards stepped forward to seize the human, but the princess stood in front of him, her hand over her swollen belly, her eyes blazing with defiance. "Touch him and you touch the heir of the empire," she said. The court gasped. Silence followed. The human did not move. He stood tall, his chains rattling, his eyes fixed on the king. He did not plead for his life. He only said, "If you kill me, you kill the future your empire needs." Some generals lowered their heads. Some advisors whispered. A seed of doubt spread among the king's council. Could it be true? Could this child be salvation rather than shame? But the king's pride was stronger than reason. He ordered the human executed at dawn. The princess screamed, begging for mercy. But the king turned away, his crown heavy with anger. That night, the princess wept in the chamber. The human held her hand through the bars of his prison. He whispered, "No matter what happens, protect the child. The child is hope." Tears streamed down her face. She swore she would not let the king take him from her. Part 6. War in the Shadows. The execution never came. When dawn arrived, half the guards refused to carry out the king's order. Some believed the princess's child was sacred. Others believed the human's courage had earned him respect. Whispers turned to plots. Factions formed in the empire, some loyal to the king, others loyal to the princess and her unborn heir. The king's fury turned to paranoia. He sent assassins in the night to silence the human. But each attempt failed. The princess defended him, and even some guards turned their blades against their own brothers. Meanwhile, across alien worlds, the news spread like fire. Stories told of a prophecy, an heir born of two worlds, human and alien, destined to unite the galaxy. Some believed, some feared, but no one could ignore it. The human trained in secret. He turned his chains into weapons. His body grew stronger, his will sharper. He was no longer a prisoner. He was becoming a warrior. The princess's belly grew heavy, her strength fading, but her spirit unbroken. She stood by him through every danger. Together they defied the king's shadow. In the palace, the king sat on his throne in silence, his heart torn between wrath and dread. The empire trembled round him, but he would not yield. His final command was cold and merciless. "If the child is born, it will be born dead." Part 7. The heir's destined day came when the princess went into labor. The palace shook with tension. Guards loyal to the king stormed the chamber, but were met by guards loyal to her. Steel clashed against steel, shouts echoed in the halls, the air filled with the sound of rebellion. The human stood at her side, defending her with every ounce of strength. His body bruised and bloodied, yet he did not fall. His only purpose was to keep her safe until the child drew its first breath. In the throne room, the king prepared to strike the final blow. His armor glowed with fury. His hands summoned the power of his ancestors. But when he entered the birthing chamber, he froze. The cry of a newborn filled the air. The princess lay exhausted, but alive. Her child rested in her arms, eyes glowing, with a strange light, part human, part alien, a perfect fusion of two worlds. The king stepped forward, his sword raised, but the council blocked his path. For the first time in centuries, the king's word was challenged. The eldest counselor spoke. This child is the heir. The empire belongs to them. The king roared in rage, but even he could see it. The soldiers, who once obeyed him, now bowed before the child. The princess lifted the baby high, her voice steady though her body weak. This is the future of our people, the heir who will unite the galaxy. The human stood beside her, his chains broken, no longer a prisoner, but a protector. The king dropped his sword. His crown felt like a curse. His pride shattered. He retreated to his throne, his eyes burning with hatred. You may have won today, he whispered, but I will never bow to human blood. The princess kissed her child's forehead. She whispered softly, you are not just an heir, you are destiny. And in that moment, the galaxy shifted, for the child was not only the heir of an empire, but the beginning of a legend that would echo across stars and time.